Recording has begun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today is the Sunday, the 29th of October 2023. At the time, I believe, is around, let's see what time it is. Time is about 20 past 5. So my recording is done at normal time, between 5 and 6. However, it's getting quite dark today, isn't it? So let's start then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shazad Hussain and I live at 20 Primary Way, Undercliff, Bradford. And today is the 29th of October 2023, and it's been 82 days since I last saw my brother, who was abducted from my care, who's been abducted from my care from the 7th of October 2023, and it's been 82 days. And I've been leaving messages every single day, publicizing my daily vlogs of my situation and what's happening. And there's absolutely nothing I can do other than make these videos for prosperity, because nobody's willing to help, and it's all the authorities that are colluding and conspiring. Now, the next big thing now is Tuesday. On Tuesday at midday, I'm going to answer my bail by the police. The police have bailed me, have arrested me and bailed me until the 12:30 on the 31st of October. So I'm going to answer that, and I obviously anticipate they're going to do something malevolent or nefarious or dodgy, as they have done on all previous occasions. So I'm fully, mentally, psychologically, preparing myself for this fraud that's going to happen at the police station. But I'm just reminding myself, going through some of my own personal records, that it was on the 29th of October, exactly on this day, that Mr. Christopher Browell first contacted me 2 years ago in 2021. He contacted me on the same proviso that, he was just coming to check up on Talib and do a welfare check. As soon as that word welfare check, trust me on this, the word welfare check, although it sounds benevolent and innocuous, it's a highly toxic word, and it means quite nefariousness and malevolence. They're not doing welfare checks for any other reason but other than for fraud and deception to take place. So when he told me he's coming to do a welfare check, I clearly clicked on the why they're doing, and they had made several welfare checks before as well. I believe they made a welfare check, both Fungi and Muchichi TV, and Baljit Note had come down on the 19th of October, once again, quote unquote, doing welfare checks, when the reality was that alongside this, on the 5th of October, I was in the High Court in London before Mr. Justice Cohen, who had basically forcibly ordered my mother to be vaccinated, and I had obviously kicked off after this, and as a result of that case running concurrently with this issues with my brother, they obviously looked to come down on the 19th of October to basically antagonize me into reacting in my brother's case, so they can get leverage and advantage. I didn't answer the door on the 19th. I know that they came down with the police. Then on the 19th of October, I then subsequently on the 21st of October 2021 lodged that as a formal police complaint, and then on the 29th of October, lo and behold, Christopher Browell and Baljit Notra have withdrawn from the case, and now all of a sudden Christopher Browell has been brought on. And so for the next 2 years, so today's the anniversary of his first call, and so for the next 2 years he's been basically working alongside us, or engaging with me in order to basically monitor the situation, because as a consequence of the shenanigans that they were pulling, because it didn't just end there with Christopher Browell contacting us on the 29th of October 2021. There were several other welfare checks and attempts to make welfare checks, but what they always needed is somebody to trigger it, you see, and they had recruited Sun Valley practice GPs to trigger an event then that I missed an appointment or something. It was always some kind of pretext from the GP practices. The GPs eventually had to make some pretext to get rid of or discharge my brother and my sister from their practice, and then they did a further welfare check on in December, I believe, December the 9th or something, 2021, where the police officer was allowed to come into the house and in Oldham, and I showed him, and there was obviously nothing further that they could do about it. Then the situation kind of just began to settle, because in January, a month later, my mother would be murdered off. So They've allowed it to settle. By February 2022, we returned back to this property. And then Manningham Housing Association, the landlords were contacting Christopher Browell directly, asking him, can we raise a safeguarding concern? And Christopher Browell said, I have no safeguarding concerns in February 2022. So then subsequently they've tried it again in October 2022, and then obviously managed to achieve it in August 2023. So it's just an ongoing saga. 2 years that they've been, basically I've been dealing with Christopher Browell, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes back more than 5 years to 2018, but then it goes back more than to 5 years, back to 2012. Then it goes back to 2002. It's all like 23 years they've been just targeting me and victimizing me, and in the parallel, murdering my family members off, antagonizing me to a reactor. So I could be, prosecuted for violence. There's no violence at all. The only thing that they've convicted me of is fraud by abusive position against the very family members that I am caring for. So the only thing that they've managed to achieve in all these years is a contrived and manufactured fraud case against the very people that are in my care. After serving my time, coming out, my mother and both my brother have signed over their lasting power of attorney, registered with the Office of the Public Guardian. They couldn't handle that because that obviously negated their criminal conviction, and so then bought off the Public Guardian, Nick Goodwin, and bought off the Court of Protection judges, District Judge Beckley and Justice Cohen and Cobb and everybody else, and Judge Geddes, all in order to undermine the lasting power of attorneys that were in place. But lo and behold, we're back at Manningham Housing case now, when Manningham Housing were made aware in 2014. So Manningham Housing have documents of 2014 where they had come down to visit my mother and my brother following my allegations, following my threats that I would murder my brother in February 2014. They came down in April 2014, I believe the start of April 2014. Nazneen came down at the start of April with Jonathan Coles, and my mother and my brother both authorized and signed over the lasting power of attorney as an informal document, which I registered with them. So therefore my criminal conviction could have not have stood as well. I've subsequently gone to prison, come out, and got those documents off the housing association with a great deal of reluctance on their part. And now we're here, everything's still up in the air. So now it's 82 days. I'll see what happens on Tuesday, whether they're going to charge me or whether they're going to release me. I anticipate that if they're going to charge me, they're going to remand me in custody and then they win the case, because obviously I won't be here anymore. Or alternatively, if they charge me and release me on bail, I don't think they're going to do that. I think what they're going to do is they're going to say we're going to need more time, it's complicated, and so on and so forth, and continue the status quo. In the meantime, my brother's life is going to be endangered. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, it's 82 days now. I need to make these vlogs a lot more earlier because it's dark outside now. But we'll leave it there. Not suicidal, not going to kill myself. And if anything happens, any harm comes to me, it's as a direct result of a Bradford Council looking to cover up their own frauds and failures.